Next story I wanted to talk about is about a guy named Robin Bullock. I've talked about him a few times, but not recently. So I wanted to take a look at him because he had some really weird stuff to say recently. Check this clip out. Early February 2022, he thinks he's onto something. He thinks he's found something unique, something special that God showed him, and God wanted him to show the rest of the world. So check this out.
The Lord said, connect the corners.
Okay, we're looking at a graph of something. Not really relevant. The Lord says connect the corners, okay?
Just connect the corners. And so I did. And it made a corridor that went, look at the corridors from the same cubed numbers.
Okay.
Do you have that chart?
Yep.
Put that one up. Look at that. Look at that. It made a hallway that spanned time.
Okay, this guy is telling us God told him to connect the corners on a graph, and it created a hallway that spans time. This is beyond confusing and weird, but he seems to be using it as like a prophecy from God. He seems to be telling us that God is revealing prophecy to him through the fact that he drew lines on a graph.
The occult, they're using that. They knew that. Satan is a mathematician. Magic has its own base in math. Everything is in that legal time.
Wait a minute, math is satanic? Since when? I can't have science. I can't have math. What can I have? How can you call math out as satanic? Really?
And so a corridor was created. A spirit went from 2008, walked in past the rapture into the time of the Antichrist, and that spirit walked back down that corridor, and Obama was a duplicate of the Antichrist all the way till he left office.
Wow, dude. Okay, well, this took an interesting turn. So it started out with him drawing lines on a graph, and it ended with him saying that Obama was a duplicate of the Antichrist all the way to when he left office. How we got here, I don't know. This is a confusing mess if I've ever seen one, but I do know one thing. Obama's the Antichrist, and math is satanic. That is at least one thing we've learned in this clip that Robin Bullock wanted to communicate.
Brought that spirit back into our time, and it was present in our world until 2015. And at 2015, CERN had set itself to open a portal on 9/23 of that same year, and they were going to open this portal up to another dimension and invite somebody over.
CERN? Are you kidding me? Like the Hadron Collider is what he's talking about? The particle collider? Suddenly he's telling us that the Hadron Collider is like some satanic something or other? This is actually an old idea. People seem to have believed that the Hadron Collider is some kind of a satanic thing since it was built, basically. In fact, if I remember correctly, somebody gifted a statue of Shiva to CERN, to like the Hadron Collider. They gifted a statue of it. I think it was India, maybe. Anyway, they gifted a statue of Shiva, and Christians used that as some kind of contrived proof that Satan was involved here. Shiva is like the destroyer of worlds. Like that's CERN's goal, is to destroy the world. I don't know why that would be CERN's goal, since, people live here, and including the people that work at CERN. But, logic was never the strong suit here. Logic was never really part of the equation in the first place. Logic is irrelevant. Throw it out when dealing with these people. You have to understand, Robin Bullock and the people who listen to him and agree with him don't want logic, have no use for it whatsoever. What matters is feelings, ultimately, and nothing else. He feels like God's giving him these messages, and he feels like the Hadron Collider is evil, and that's all he needs. He puts two and two together. Now he gets Satan is running CERN to try to blow up the world or something. I'm really sad about that thing with math, though. I'm really disappointed that he said math is satanic. But, he's not the first one that said that math is satanic. Mid-September 2021, Greg Locke had this to say. Check this clip out.
I'm dumber than a box of rocks in a lot of areas. Facebook just makes people think I'm smart.
I'm not going to comment.
I graduated from high school almost 2 years late with an 8th grade bonehead math degree. I failed pre-algebra 2 years in a row.
How did he manage that? Like, how did he even graduate? I'm not knocking the guy for getting bad grades. I didn't get great grades in school either, and I regret it. The reason is because I didn't work hard enough. I didn't do my homework, and that's required to get good grades, you know? So I didn't get good grades in high school, and as a result, I kind of stumbled my way all the way through. Eventually, I ended up getting kicked out of the house by my parents, by my mom specifically. Got kicked out because I was disfellowshipped, had to live out on my own, and I had to have a job and support myself and everything, and that meant I had to drop out of school, which I ended up doing. I got my GED eventually, and ultimately I went to a community college and got a substance abuse counseling degree, but that's neither here nor there. The point is that I stumbled through school too, but I have an appreciation for math and science. I love this stuff. And since I've left school, I've gone on to study it more. I want to understand how this stuff works. I want to understand science. Greg Locke and Robin Bullock are going the opposite direction. Dude said that math is satanic. And Greg Locke is sitting here laughing about how much he hates math. It's like the level of anti-intellectualism here just blows my mind.
Bonehead math degree. I failed pre-algebra 2 years in a row. I've never had business math, consumer math. I never even made it past pre-algebra. Never had real algebra. I hate math. Somebody say amen.
This anti-intellectualism is so sad. Like, taking pride in not liking education is so sad and heartbreaking to me. And he's supposed to be setting an example for people. He is setting an example for some people, certainly. I mean, he's a megachurch pastor. Same as Robin Bullock, dude's a televangelist. They're setting an example for people. Unfortunately, it seems to be a bad example that they're setting.
Yes, you're like me. I get nervous when the Holy Spirit wants me to preach out of the book of Numbers. I hate math.
You know, that's a clever joke, I have to say. That's a clever joke. He knows how to retain an audience's attention, that's for sure.
It's nonsense.
No, it's not. It's not nonsense. In fact, it's the exact opposite of nonsense. Math is pure logic and reason and rationality. Maybe that's why you don't like it. Have you ever considered that as a possibility, Greg? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. The point is, I guess they've deemed math evil, and that breaks my heart. That's not the only weird thing that Robin Bullock's been up to lately. I wanted to show you this older clip. This is early July 2021 because it relates to a newer clip that just came out with Robin Bullock in it. So check this clip out. This one is him talking about Biden being possessed by Satan.
Now, show the first video.
About why I only paid that much is because I'm smart. You know how to game the system. Well, guess what, Mr. President? I'm coming for you.
Okay, just a politician being a politician. I mean, that's what politicians do. I'm not seeing anything spectacular here.
Be sure the volume's in the stream well. I want everybody to hear this sound. Now go to the next video and show this one. Now watch this close and listen very closely.
120 days. Give me a break. Need time.
I'm not seeing it. What's he trying to point out here? He goes on to explain that he believes that Biden is possessed by a demon, and the fact that he was like kind of getting into the microphone and doing this, that is a demon speaking through him. And he knows that because he has exorcised demons before, and he's heard them speak, and they sound exactly like that. That's what he's saying. This one's from June 2021. Check this one out.
I remember he leaned into the mic and told President Trump, "We're coming for you."
Yeah, that's the one we just watched.
And he growled out this demonic sound. I can't make the sound, but...
He just whispered into the mic, give me a break. People do that all the time. It's just a way of, like, interacting with the crowd, nothing more. He wants everything to be a conspiracy. He wants everything to be demonic possession, whatever it takes.
It was this demonic voice. I've heard him make it again recently. And he growled this out. When he did, I went back and I took a picture. I think it was at that moment. It was one of the moments I took a picture with my phone right on television.
Remember, this is June 2021. That's important. It comes into play in a minute. Keep listening.
Yes. Okay, it's up there. Now look at the eyes. If you'll look at the eyes, you'll notice there's serpent's pupils.
He claims that he took a picture with his phone of the TV, and somehow it doesn't seem to be all pixelated, really, right? Everything seems to be like blurred around the edges. If it was close up and you took a picture of the TV close up, you would expect to see it pixelated, but it doesn't seem to be here. But he's telling us it's not pixelated. It was an actual picture of him speaking on TV, live, and this isn't a trick of the light or anything like that. He really did sit there and see Biden's eyes turn into serpent eyes, quote unquote. Well, first of all, I just have to point out, not all snakes have the slit eyes. The reason that slit eyes exist in the first place is because it gives the creature better vision upward and downward. So you usually see slit eyes vertically for predators. You'll usually find that they have the eyes on the front of their face, too. With a rabbit, for example, their eyes are on the side of their head. It's so that they can see further out to protect themselves from danger. That means it's probably a prey animal if it's on the side of their head. If it's on the front of their head, if their eyes are on the front of their head and they have the slits for the pupils, it means the eyes are designed to look up and down to be able to see like birds and also mice, and forward, looking more clearly at what's in front of them. So they're probably predators if they have slit pupils and their eyes are on the front, and they're probably prey if the eyes are on the side of the head. That's what all of this means. As I said a minute ago, snakes, not all snakes, have the slit pupils.
They're slotted pupils.
I've never heard the term slotted pupil, actually. I don't know what that means. I looked it up. I used that term in previous videos because I heard him use it, but that's honestly an unfamiliar term to me. And I didn't find anywhere, like any scientific articles using that term either. It's slit pupils is what it's called. I'm not sure what a slotted pupil is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong on that, somebody comment about it and I'll pin it to the top.
They're slotted pupils. Now, other times, they're not like that. But at times, it shows a slotted serpent's eye.
Once again, the dude is trying to make you feel that Satan has invaded this person's body and is controlling him. Anytime you see a slit pupil, like you would find in a predator animal, it means that Satan's controlling the guy, I guess. I don't know. It's absurd. It's a trick of the light at best, and it's just drawn at worst. I honestly would not be surprised to find out that somebody just drew this picture and then took a picture of it and sent it to him or something.
People say, oh, that was Photoshop. No, it wasn't either. I took the picture.
Yeah, I believe it. Totally. 100%. I totally trust everything this guy tells me because it's so accurate all the time. Definitely. Well, that brings us to early February 2022. Okay, that clip was from June 2021. Now we're in February 2022. Check this clip out.
So one day, and I'm just walking around. I think I was at the house or something, and I heard that on television when he did that growl, that low whisper. When he did, I knew that sound. I'd heard demons speak like that over and over and over.
Oh my God, the dude is still going down this road. Seriously, it's like a year apart practically, maybe 9 months apart, and the guy is still repeating the same bit here about hearing Biden whisper into the microphone, "We're coming for you," and claim that it's a demon. Give me a break, please.
I turned around to look, and I took my phone. And when they got up to a place, I took the picture of him when he'd lean over and whisper. And I noticed something. This happened over and over. And I noticed something. Show that picture of him. And this is not touched up at all.
Oh, I bet. Totally. Not touched up at all. Hence the artifact and the little plus sign right here. I'm assuming that that's the result of some kind of a camera or a positioning system of some sort. I don't know what this is. Not touched up at all. Yeah, 100%. What am I even looking at here? I can't tell. It's just a big blur.
You see his eye?
Is that an eye that I'm looking at? It looks like a little dark dot inside of a little lighter dot inside of a larger, lighter area. Seriously, it's nearly impossible to tell what I'm even looking at here.
Is that his left eye, isn't it?
You tell me. I don't know. I didn't take the picture.
Watch this. Look at it in another photo.
There you go. Same picture from 9 months ago. Dude claims to have taken this picture 9 months ago, and now we're looking at a serpent's eye again. This was nonsense 9 months ago, and it's nonsense now, Robin. Come on.
There's his right eye. But look at that pupil. Do you see it slotted?
No, I see what looks like light shining on his eye, which very well could cut the pupil in half or make it look like the pupil is cut in half. That's what I'm seeing right now. And I'm also seeing very few pixels. It looks like it's a painting. If you took a picture of your TV up close, you would capture the pixels because TVs work differently than phones or other systems like monitors and stuff. You would see the pixels. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind you'd see pixels. I'm not seeing pixels in this. It looks like a painting. I mean, you wouldn't fabricate something, would you, Robin Bullock? You wouldn't, like, just make something up whole cloth, would you? I mean, I'm trusting you here, buddy.
Every time he speaks that way, that I could catch him on camera, and I'd pull that eye up. Look at it. Now just look at it a minute. Don't take it down yet. Can you see that his pupil is elongated all the way from top to the bottom?
It looks like it very well could have been photoshopped, for one thing. And for another thing, the light is clearly shining off of it, cutting the pupil in half.
If I had a picture of a serpent's eye to put up there next to it, I could show you that. Fauci.
Oh my God, please, dude. This guy's about to go after Dr. Fauci.
Fauci came on the scene. And then all of a sudden I thought, wait a minute. I stopped and went up with my phone, took another picture. Guess what shows up? Show his face.
Okay. I'm really honestly, to the bottom of my heart, not seeing anything weird about his eyes here. What? What am I looking at? What? Tell me. What am I supposed to be seeing in Dr. Fauci's eyes? They're round. Doesn't get rounder than this.
You see him there? There he was, just talking. And that was the one, I think, I was watching Victory, and that one was on that. And watch this. And then suddenly, I decided to,
What? They're round, man. Look, there's a light source that's reflecting off of his eye and turning it into a moon shape. That's how this works. Light. Have you ever heard of light? This is obviously just light shining off of the dude's eye. It is not a serpent eye.
What is that? A serpent has found a personality that matches his own.
You know what I find interesting, honestly? All of this routes back to a single event that took place in the Bible, supposedly. It routes back to the event where Eve was tempted to eat a fruit from the forbidden tree by a serpent, by supposedly Satan. The Bible doesn't say it was Satan. It says it was a snake. And as a result of the snake being so tricky and so deceitful, God punished the snake to crawl on its belly all its days. So presumably leading up to that moment, the snake had legs. I'm assuming, because it wasn't cursed by God yet, right? So this guy seems to hate snakes so much because he believes that Satan was the one that took over the snake's body and deceived Eve, apparently. Despite the fact that the Bible doesn't say that Satan had anything to do with it. Just a little fun fact for you. Do you know why the Bible doesn't say that Satan had anything to do with deceiving Eve? Because the concept of Satan didn't exist yet. The concept of Satan didn't exist in the Old Testament. The only references to Satan in the Old Testament were retroactively written in later. There's a reference to an adversary in Job. That was never supposed to be Satan. It was supposed to be just an angel, an inquisitive angel. Basically nothing more. But people went back and wrote Satan into that part, just like they went back and wrote Satan in as the snake that deceived Eve. That's why this guy seems to care so much about snakes, about serpents. He seems to believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that Biden and Fauci have been possessed by snakes because he can see slit pupils. Well, these are very obviously tricks of light at best. I have to say, Robin, I think this is all in your head, bud. Let's see. Michael Main. Bullock is maybe my favorite train wreck of any of the preachers you frequently cover. I'm not sure how influential he actually is, but I think his Christian fan fiction is pretty hilarious. I love the insightful content. I appreciate it. Well, he's a televangelist. I believe he's on TV and everything, right? I don't remember what God is something or other. I don't remember the name of the channel. He's on Kenneth Copeland's channel, Flashpoint, all the time. He's also on Steve Schultz, Elijah Streams, and Elijah List Facebook group, which has 450,000 followers or somewhere in there. Kenneth Copeland's Flashpoint network is probably his biggest platform, though, that he has. Hank Kunneman's on there, too. And they're massive. They have millions of eyeballs watching them. Millions. You know, even if these people aren't massive, even if they're just some guy with, 5,000 YouTube subbies or something, these ideas are spreading. He's not the only one that holds these ideas. Others do too. He is a voice that represents more voices. He is speaking for more people than just himself. He may be a nobody, but he represents more than just him. And that's what concerns me. That's why I keep covering these people, even if they're tiny. Somebody recently pointed out Tommy McMurtry's from a tiny town that has a tiny church, and he's basically a nobody. Why am I covering him? Because he's saying things that a lot of people believe in, a lot of people agree with. He's using a lot of harmful rhetoric, a lot of harmful words, a lot of damaging verbiage to hurt people. And a lot of people are on his side, whether they know him personally or not. He is a representation of some level of mainstream view, and that's why I talk about it. Balthazar228, all these eye dots are just from the lighting sources behind the cameras. You'd get the same effect taking a photo of a preacher from the right angle. Absolutely. And if you zoom in on Robin Bullock in one of these little snapshots here, you would see that there's light reflecting off of his eyes too, whether he likes that fact or not. Malin Miller, I believe that free speech is important, but should we really be allowing religious leaders to spread fear of math and science to their followers? Where do we draw the line for what these people are allowed to get away with? It's a good question. Where do we draw the line? Everybody has a line. It's just, where do you draw that line? In my opinion, there really is not much that we can do if preachers want to sit there and speak nonsense to their congregations. It's their own building on their own property and their own friends and family that they're talking to. Nothing to be done there. They want to stand on a street corner and spout nonsense. Nothing we can do. Nothing we can do about that. They want to write it in a book. Nothing we can do to change that. I think the line for me personally, it varies from person to person. If they want to go into a private business and start spouting nonsense, then we have a different situation on our hands. If they want to force their opinions down people's throats who don't want to hear it, we have a different situation. If they want to mix it into government, different situation. That's where my line is for freedom of speech.